what is marketing to you? What is marketing to you? And there's multiple choice options there, and you may feel it's multiple of those. You may feel more leaning towards one or the other. So that's what we're getting. We're trying to get people's gut reaction around what it is to you, more so over something else. And it's interesting to gauge that from the audience, because I'll share with you shortly what my perception of it was when I first joined the joined after graduation. So we've had 2 votes in so far. So if, we'll just wait for a few more. If we've got any more votes coming in. Okay, so interestingly, those that have voted have. Oh, here we go. I've got some more coming in now. So a bit of focus on strategy and analysis. We just had a vote in there for public relations. Another strategy vote. Interesting. This maybe a nature of the degrees of people on the audience or the studies that you're doing. Obviously, a lot of people usually go with the branding, logos, adverts, or in the current arena, websites and social media. And when I graduated, there was a big early push on the digital side of marketing. Digital marketing specialists were just about starting to become a thing. So it's interesting actually that a lot of you gone for the strategy side of things. So thanks for taking part in that poll. We'll another one's coming now there as well. So yeah, interesting results. So what I'd like to do is take you through a career journey and talk about marketing as a career beyond adverts, brands, slogans, and cover those things that from our audience here today think it's those alternative areas. I started with a degree at Canterbury Christchurch University in Kent, and at the time it was a business studies with business management with marketing degree, and it appealed to me because there was the opportunity to work with a business in the final year dissertation project. So gave it some real live experience. And it's interesting that when you're mapping out your journey during your studies and wondering what to do post study, you use resources, you use career advice, and you try and map out where you're going to start and what sort of direction you want to go. I think most people have a plan or a vision in their head of where their career wants to go. And typically for marketing professionals or people doing any sort of marketing associated degree, commonly a role, entry level role is around the marketing assistant or a marketing graduate role in different businesses of different sizes. And a lot of the research out there will put you on these sort of paths, whether you go down into executives or managers. I mentioned digital marketing managers as a specialism is now becoming more common. And then from there, actually, when you look at careers advice and different websites, the breadth of what that role then moves into is quite vanilla. It's quite manager, director, manager, senior manager. Even if you go a different path down the executive, it's very similar. And through specialism, again, you can have digital marketing directors if it's a large organization, and digital senior marketing managers or analysts. We talked about analysts there. What I wanted to talk about today is actually the opportunities to, in my opinion, marketing professionals is a lot broader than that. Marketing can be so much more than any of the 5 categories we voted on right at the beginning of the workshop. My career journey initially took a different path. I used my degree to access a graduate graduate management program, but it was using nothing around the specialism of that degree in marketing per se. It was the degree was used as access to a program, and nothing against the program, but it wasn't for me. I found quite quickly that retail arena wasn't what I had studied and designed to want to be on. So I slowly moved into that marketing assistant role at a national garage chain outfit called Mr. Clutch, and it's that fulfilled all of the elements of what you think traditional marketing was. It was managing 50 garages, unique adverts, and booking Yellow Pages adverts, and organising the artwork for big billboards around town centres, and running the website, and creating flyers and e-marketing and traditional letter-based marketing, sending people MOT reminders. So I learned a lot from my studies in an applied sense at Mr. Clutch in terms of those more traditional and then some of the emerging digital marketing disciplines. Interestingly, as that role progressed for me at the same organisation, I quickly then became more aware of the strategic and the analytical side of marketing, and how actually marketing professionals and graduates can have a really significant role in the direction of travel and growth of a business. And the manipulation of data and managing data can scare some people and make it sound like it's non-aspirational. People fear large amounts of data, but data actually, weirdly, can be quite exciting from a marketing perspective. As an example, within Mr. Clutch, I mentioned the 50 garages. I think we had between 10 and 15 forms of different marketing for each individual garage. And what we did was have a different phone number for every bit of marketing for every garage. So we had hundreds of different phone numbers, but what that provided us was a really detailed report of exactly how many calls we got from billboards or from Yellow Pages or from websites or from MOT reminders. And a lot of things around marketing and data meant that we could actually tailor the marketing mix geographically. So the way consumers responded to the services we offered in Newcastle may have been different to the way people in Southampton were responding to marketing, and that way you can more effectively execute your marketing budget and spend on the information you provided. Too many people I've seen, and colleagues and peers I've spoken to across marketing disciplines who spend money on great ideas and concepts, and when challenged on how successful it's been, there's not really any scalable data to monitor that return on investment. So this role really developed the data side of return of investment and how that can link back in the marketing discipline. This is where one of the highlighted areas I wanted to bring up, because a lot of people think then you move on to bigger marketing challenges and other things. Well, my career took a bit of a different journey, actually, and I moved into this role called a business development manager. I had no idea what that was when I was a graduate. I'd never heard of it as a role, and the company was a construction-based business, specialising in energy efficiency, and nothing related to garages and car repair. But actually, a lot of the skills and disciplines from your degree and then from your applied learning in your career journey really did apply. What I found out here is, speaking in and getting to know the construction sector, that this role of a business development manager was really, really suitable for marketing professionals. A lot of business development, specifically in construction, had been populated historically by technical staff who had been engineers or technical specification people, and they've evolved into then trying to sell it. And business development can often get linked with the concept of selling. Actually, those that seemingly I've come across in my years that are more successful at business development roles are marketing people, because it's not a hard sell. You're not trying to really push something on someone, but you're actually marketing a business's proposition through your own personality and words to influence buying decision. So if you're making something relevant and you're making something suitable, it's making it attractive to people. So yeah, business development manager is, for me, a really interesting angle for marketing professionals to take, because it harnesses the skills that you've learned around propositioning a business or around your products or services, but developing that through your own personality and your own self-brand. And I don't know if anyone on the call, student members of the Chartered Institute of Marketing. Definitely something I'd recommend looking at. They run lots of really informative sessions, and there was one just last week actually on self-brands, and I'll cover that a bit more. So career progression for people who decide to go down that route, it can be quite prosperous, and you can move into there are senior levels of business development. And again, I made that move into a wider construction and public sector serving space. And then I always like to try and reflect back and think, when I was at uni, did I think I would be here? And the reality is no. I thought my future would be making adverts, creating things, being a brand ambassador, and making things. And actually, as the career evolves, all those things are still true, but at a really more strategic level, like those that voted at the beginning of the session. Oh, sorry. So the other elements of the career journey around business development and self-brand is really important. A lot of you may be familiar if you watch things like The Dragon's Den. Stephen Bartlett's very, very popular on there. This series, it's got a lot of following, and he's self-brand and social influence is significant. And I think that can be true in the current world of business, for marketing professionals too. Those that want to have more of a voice around the products they are selling and the propositions they are providing seem to get more traction. People buy from people. And again, it's a fine line between sales and salespeople, and marketeer professionals who are all about putting relevant information in front of people at the right time. And social influence and self-branding can really help and develop that. And that's something that I've done in my career journey through the construction sector and the public sector. Now moving and supporting the graduate mentor program in the built environment, and a lot of the graduate mentors I've supported have been in the built environment sector. So it's great to be talking about marketing today. But moving into this wider role, actually, around marketing, where now I've been able to take my career journey on things I've learned and developed, and selling propositions, to slightly flip that round now. We, at the company I work at now, provide a lot of services to local authorities, housing associations, councils, and the public sector around developing their strategies, their sustainability strategies as a not-for-profit. So we're not trying to sell anything. I'm actually my new job now is trying to spend money on public sector businesses. So it takes a real different spin on the marketing propositions and the stereotypes you associate with when you study. But you're using those skills and talents that you've harnessed over the years to develop public interest and self-good. And now it puts us in a position where we are speaking regularly at conferences and public sector events on trying to rethink the way the sector tackles sustainability issues. And that's all through self-brand, strategic marketing, using statistics, analysis of what others are doing, marketing them, packaging them up, and putting them out there into the sector at relevant time speed. And who knows what's next? Again, looking back, did I think I'd be doing what I'm doing now when I left uni? Probably not. I'm rattling through this because I think with the size of the group we've got, it'd be really good and interactive to get some more discussion going around what the career journey is for you. But sharing this journey with you, I hope highlighted a few key takeaways. Like, it's definitely worth having a direction in mind, something you want to do. Know that first step, but have an idea of where you want to be. But be open to alternatives. It actually took a friend over a social drink convincing me to leave a clutch and take on this new role that I didn't know necessarily what it was. And it's honestly the best thing I've ever done. No career path is fixed or certain. These tools, these systems out there are guidance to give you a direction of where you can go. But actually, the real world of employment can be so dynamic and diverse. And obviously, technology changes things. I mentioned digital and marketing roles were new 15, 16 years ago when I graduated. There's now a whole world of new roles, specialist to marketing, that can cover from your studies and what you're learning. And marketing really does cover a whole range of how a business can succeed. I think, sometimes I've found the stereotypes of marketing suppress the opportunities in some business leaders' eyes because they feel marketing can be a luxury, and it's good when economy's great, we can advertise and develop. But actually, those that develop a more strategic thinking, a data-led mindset, that development of self-brand, be your best self, market yourself first to deliver the service, you then can offer a whole lot more to a business and in how it succeeds. In the business arena, not social media is not for everyone. I get that, but I really have seen LinkedIn as a great opportunity to develop that self brand and really push your marketing and careers on in that sense, and work on your personal brand. Be your best self. Your best marketing skills are you. You can learn lots of great talent, lots of great tools, systems, processes. But the best marketing skill you have is yourself. And I think that's always important to remember, and gives you empowerment. You can come out of your studies with your degrees and hold your head high, be proud that you've done that, and you can now apply that to a career journey. They, for me, are the most important things. And if I can come back to the screen, I think it'd be really good to share some Q&A, Dan, if that works.
Yep, that works. And thank you for sharing your journey. And it's great to have a practitioner, someone who's a graduate. You did a business degree, didn't you?
Business with marketing, yes.
Yeah. Business degree with marketing. Started off in retail management, so you got some brilliant sort of foundational skills there on top of your degree, and it also gave you the time to think about what you liked and where your skills lay. And you got into marketing, got promoted, so that's always great validation, and then took it further. So I think for our students and graduates to hear about your journey is very, very useful. And we can see your profile on LinkedIn, but you've really brought it to life today. So on their behalf, thank you very much. Now is the opportunity to ask David any questions that you may have. I've got one quick one actually, because I did business, ended up in marketing. You did business, ended up in marketing. I'm interested to know how many students and graduates we have here who are studying those degrees. And those who aren't, because there's a common misconception that you need a relevant degree to go into so many different careers, the classic being law. And we work with legal recruiters, and very often they say we don't need a legal degree from university. And there's all these myths and misconceptions, and you're closing doors before you're even exploring these options. So I think it's very important not to limit your career ambitions just by the degree you've done. And I think that's something that you've demonstrated as well, David. We've got one question here from Favor. Thank you very much. You've asked, how can an individual get into IMC consulting in the UK? For example, consulting for brands. What would you say to that?
Yeah, good question. Thanks, Favor. Obviously, brand consultancy. So again, this links quite to traditional marketing forms. There's lots of marketing agencies, design agencies. It's a very populated space. So where I live in Kent, I can think of on two hands how many there might be in Maidstone or in Canterbury. Agencies of all different shapes and sizes are out there. Some are specialists to different trades. So again, there's a construction specific marketing agency called Fabric who are located here in Kent. Then you've got more generic ones that can support wider sectors. So if you're looking specifically around brand consultancy and that's an area that interests you, it's definitely worth looking at those multi-agency offers. I think very rarely, even in the biggest companies, you do get some like brand manager based careers, but that pot that you'd be fishing in for brand consultancy specifically within one company would be limited. So those multi-agency kind of design and brand agencies, so many businesses go through rebranding. For example, we've done that when I was at Lawtech, so that first construction company, and we appointed a consultant, and they came and done the different boards, the concept boards around different ways it could be rebranded. So that would be my advice. Look up those multi-agency offers that are out there. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I mean, there's thousands of companies that go under the radar for graduate job seekers, and they can be hard to find, but you're limiting the competition straight away. And very often, these companies can offer you fantastic career progression. They're growing, more interesting, working more closely with the senior people. So, look beyond the obvious big name brands, and you will get your career off to just as good a start.
I can add to that as well, actually, like you said. So a lot of people are Saatchi, or they want the aspirations for the big brands and the big agencies. And I suppose one thing I didn't highlight in the career journey there is I've worked in all sorts of different size businesses. So Toys R Us, before its collapse, was a big retail chain. Mr. Clutch, actually, whilst it was a national garage chain, was quite a small family-owned business. Moving then to a small construction company, again, it was an £8 million turnover business that moved to about 30 million in the time we were there, and that was by definition an SME. And the politics and culture environment around working in small businesses and big businesses are very different, but there's pros and cons to both. And I think a lot of people gravitate towards the big businesses because they feel it'd be more rewarding, and there are benefits. But it also can be more challenging. And when I worked at NG, big global business, and here's an example. So my name's not exactly quite unique. David Smith, it is what it is. When I picked up my email URL initially, it was david.smith27 at ng.com. And actually then you think you've just joined a business and you feel like a number, right? So, there's, like you said, don't overlook the smaller businesses. The reward and job satisfaction and career progression you can get out of smaller business can quite often be more rewarding than the larger entities, but not always. But
it's worth a look, isn't it? So if you have any more questions, David is available, and I'm sure you can book a session on the Graduate Mentor platform if you so wish. If you have something you'd rather speak to him on a one-to-one basis. I've got no other questions coming through now, so that's an indication you've covered a lot that people were hoping for. So we can wrap up now, and if anyone wants to turn their mics back on, we'll give David a round of applause. I'll start. And
yes, favour.
Thank you for everyone coming along to today's event. Oh, we've got one question that's just come in. Thank you very much, Priyanka. Let me just read that quickly first of all. Right, okay. So Priyanka has a law degree. Our candidates who have other degrees put at a disadvantage when they start entry-level marketing roles. Do marketing graduates have that added advantage in terms of skills before starting entry-level roles?
Depends on the sort of business you go into. I would say if I wouldn't say an advantage. I think people, when they review CVs, one thing I do a lot of advice on through the mentor program when I'm speaking to people about CVs, there's that stereotypical, your CV should be structured this way. Actually, as an employer, I want to see the most relevant thing first on a CV. I don't want to see your name first, your career experience in a same order. I want to see the most relevant thing for the job first. So in your example, Priyanka, if you're worried that you feel the fact you have a law degree would disadvantage you and you're interested in marketing roles, your opening bit on the CV should be all around your interest in marketing, and not, well, I've got a degree first. You can talk about your degree and link that to how it would apply to marketing, but make everything around your application around the interest in marketing first. And that is something I think key in any job seeking environment is don't just have one CV, tailor your CV to that application and lead in your CV with the most relevant thing for the role you're applying to. It could be your study, it could be a part-time job, it could be personal interest, but put that leading thing first, and that changes any concerns you have around disadvantage, because if it's a popular job, you might get 50 applications and that employer, rightly or wrongly, is going to skim read those applications, and they're going to see if the big thing you put at the top is law degree, and then your actual passion and desire for marketing's right at the bottom of the page, or even on a second page, you're disadvantaging yourself from the start. You know?
Yeah. Now, brilliant advice for applying for jobs. Making sure you stand out within 10 seconds on a CV, and that first quarter, the top bit your eyes land on, is so important. So that's where you really sell yourself. And yeah, marketing graduates will have covered a lot of the theory, but law graduates will also have very interesting transferable skills and can probably bring something a bit different. There's no reason why you couldn't do another marketing course on the side on an e-learning site if you wanted to, and that would put you in a really strong and very interesting position. So by no means rule yourself out at the first hurdle just because you don't have a law degree, but obviously check what the employers are looking for, of course. But in our experience, certainly for marketing jobs, any degree is fine. So it's very much on you to sell your skills, and they will buy into that.
Of course, lots of law firms do need marketing support. Very few struggle. So there's hundreds across the South East and the capital alone. So could be an opportunity if there is still an interest in the law side of the degree you study. Because let's be honest, a degree teaches you discipline and structure, and those sorts of things are relevant in any role, including marketing. So there's an opportunity in the legal profession actually around marketing.
Yeah, that's a good one. Right, we've got another question here from Favor. Do you assist with applications for tier 2 jobs?
Oh, apologies, I don't know the definition of tier 2 per se, but through the graduate mentor program, I have supported a good number of graduates looking at their first step into career, and happy to review CVs and talk through the jobs you're applying for, or help signpost to community pages and areas of interest where you might find those relevant jobs. So yeah, happy to do that through the graduate mentor platform.
Right. Thank you, David. And yeah, Favor, maybe book an appointment and you can speak to David and get some more information and advice. And that goes for everyone who's come along today. Thank you for your time, and thank you to David for sharing his career in marketing since he graduated. So
we've got one hand down from an
yes.
Adesina.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello there.
Please,
how are you?
There's some application for graduate that involve experience. How do we assist in that way? Maybe you have not met up the required experience to meet up with that job description. How do we assist such graduates? I hope I'm clear. Hello. Do you get me?
Yeah, I couldn't quite get the full question. Are you saying you don't have
there's some job that need experience.
Right.
How do you assist such graduates to meet up with the requirement? Is there any training so that the person can fit in? That's my question.
Sure. So yeah, you're seeing jobs that need experience and you haven't got that experience. What do you do?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. David?
Yeah, I suppose there's two angles on it here. It depends how overtly an employer is outlining that experience. If it's coming across very critically that they need it rather than want it. So need and want's a very different thing, and there's so many different words an employer may use around need and want. If they need those experience, then my honest opinion is save yourself the time and then look for another vacancy, because that employer is very likely to, if it's a need or there's any need word narrative around that experience, then they will possibly overlook your application. If, however, there is a desire to want experience, but it's not then critical, then absolutely what you can do is highlight, be honest, be back to my point about self-brand, be your best self, and be honest that you don't currently have that experience, but you've got relatable experience, or you've got the desire to learn things, and it shows that transparency, but an interest, a desire, or transferable skills around that area. So that could be my best advice. Try and identify through the job advert if it's a need or a want. And if it's a want, then yes, there's different ways you can play your application. I hope that helps, Asina.
Good, thank you, David. Got another hand up. I thought we were coming to the end, but we're getting more people asking questions, which is great.
People have finished their sandwiches, so we're getting into it.
So you've got your hand up there, Matasiva.
Yeah, I've just listened to you. Hello, everyone. I just listened to you. Most jobs are requiring experience. If you don't have experience, they'll turn you down. I have seen like Bloodstone, Accreton, and which provide, but they are very expensive. To be quite honest, that's why I agree with the previous speaker that. But myself, I've been looking for graduate job. If you don't have relevant experience, no matter how I've got a master's, but they won't take me. So to be quite honest, I really need an advice as well, because the market is very, very challenging, and those companies which provide experience, they're very expensive. So I don't know whether you have got something to like placement to boost us with experience. As long as it doesn't matter whether you've got a master's, but if you don't have that experience, you'll be rejected.
Yeah.
No, and again, really good point, and I respect the challenge. When I back to my point around how some business owners and leaders see marketing profession as a luxury, and I'm being really transparent with you all here. In times where financial industries are challenged, like they are currently, then you're right. The volume of marketing or advertised marketing roles will be very limited. It was when I graduated, and that's why I went down a retail graduate program, because there wasn't any marketing jobs out there. I had interviews to be recruitment consultants and all sorts of other things, because I got a bit lost. I didn't know what to do, and I started chasing what I thought I should chase, and I ended up in the retail program. It really wasn't for me, but it gave me some experience. And then when markets changed, I think if I look back on that, what would I have done differently now that I know is like I said, business development, other roles, things that thrive in commercial times when things are challenged. There are other roles where marketing professionals and graduates would be really relevant, and experience is can be misconstrued. Experience, personal experience, life experience towards certain issues can satisfy employers. We through our business, we're hosted within a local authority, and they now do this thing called unconscious bias in their recruitment process. And a lot of employers, Dan, you'll be able to say from GRB's point of view that they're starting to do this, and actually applications are anonymous. You never see a CV. I don't see a CV anymore. If I get 10 applicants for a job, I get candidate 1324 7954 and 32. The numbers. It makes the process robotic. dramatic, but what it does mean is that you get to answer 4 questions around experience and how you would deal with situations, and you're evaluating that candidate on them, the self brand. And again, that's why I keep coming back to this, because businesses are now moving towards that trend, and maybe the pool of jobs you're seeing at the moment that are listing, you need a bullet point list of experience. Again, maybe that's you're not necessarily fishing in the right pool. Maybe widen your search and you'll find areas of interest that you might not have initially thought of. But again, more than happy to cover one-to-one through the mentor program.
Lovely, thank you, David. I hope that's helped, and I understand how frustrating it is, and thousands of graduates are in the same boat. It's a real challenge when you haven't got the experience, you're full of enthusiasm, you know your subject inside out, and you want to get your career started, but that's the first hurdle that you get. So, you know, like David said, if the jobs are saying that, or you can't find those kind of jobs, take a sideways approach. Don't lose sight of your goals, but you could take a few zigzags to get to where you want to go. We're only just sort of coming out of a downturn at the moment. Some sectors are flying, others are still recovering. So think about the context as well, about the economy and where these growth sectors are. And, you know, companies that are growing, they won't worry so much about experience. They want someone to do the job. They'll train you up. So yeah, just broaden your search. Don't lose sight of your goals and keep going. And certainly your career service are there to back you up. Don't forget to use your career service at your university. All right, okay, I think we'll wrap up now. And again, thank you very much, David, and for everyone who's come along today. I hope that's been useful. This has been recorded, so I will upload it to the Graduate Mentor platform in the next 48 hours or so. We do have another workshop planned for next month. Details will be released very, very soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks everyone for attending.